In this demo, we're going to go over the remaining stakeholder requirements. The first requirement that I'm going to go over is the grammar check and providing a user-friendly interface for entering service alerts, so that includes standard text editing and format capabilities. We accomplish this by having the RCC team install a plugin on their computers. You can see here, if I go to create a new message, I will start with demo for message for demo. You can see here I'm going to pick the full screen text because we're going to want to show that later. And I am going, you can see here when I stop typing that a red underline shows, and when you hover over that, a pop-up shows up giving you a grammar suggestion. Another thing that it does well is spelling. You can see here that it will change typo to typo, or the typo in the word typo to typo, but we'll remove that. And this should cover the requirement of a grammar check and spelling. The next requirement we want to go over is station range. The team wanted the ability to add or delete a station from a range and have the ability to view them, and we've accomplished that. We've actually done quite a bit of work on display options in the 2.5 release. So you can see here we have now station, route, and map. Station is basically any screen, platform, or group, and now station range has just evolved into just route for route and direction. So if we change the display option to route and direction, we now have route direction, and we will pick a route. And you can see here, now below all of the stations on the S route are listed below. We're going to say both directions, and you can select from any of these. We've also provided this toggle that will select none or all. You can actually unselect some of these and say we want to go back. We can now select all of them again. We did this so it would be easier for users to be able to quickly select stations instead of having to type them in one at a time. Another thing that we've added is route colors as the border. So you can see here, if I change it to the G, the border changes to the color to match that route badge, as well as all of the stations listed below are now included when the route changes. Change it again. You can see we've changed to blue. We now have the new stations, and so forth. The next few requirements that I'm going to go over all encapsulate around message scheduling, which we now have. So we now have picked our title of our message, our type of message, our display options, and now we go down to message visibility and scheduling. So it's important that if we're going to have multiple messages published to the same screen, that we rate which one's important, the most important. So it will always be emergencies the most important, but we now have these 10 other levels that you can add the severity level of messages. So we'll just select this one as 9. We'll say that we want it to start today and we want it to end tomorrow. Another thing that we've added is these repeat rules. So do we want this message to repeat? Yes. We now have the ability to select messages to repeat Monday through Sunday. We can select multiple days. We can select times and dates, never to end, or excluding some dates. I'm going to unclick this just for the demo, and I'm going to select save. Now when we save a message, we will see this up here where it says messages are going to appear on multiple screens with multiple resolutions, which is fine. Our message has been created, our type of message has been created. You can see here we have all of this valuable information. And you can see right now it says no messages are being displayed, but if we just refresh the page, our message is visible. We can select all of these stations. We have this text up here about troubleshooting is visible, and the first one is wait and refresh the screen. First one was check if it was published. Now, if we click on one of these screens, you can see here that it is our demo message. Great. So that should cover everything that we've done for message scheduling. It covers being able to rate messages by priority. It also goes over that we want messages to be published or unpublished within 40 seconds, so I just published a message, as well as being able to pick dates to messages can recur. Another requirement was that we wanted messages with their dates to be visible on the message dashboard. So if we go back to dashboard messages, you can see here this last one I did is message for the demo, and the valid dates are all listed under the valid dates column. Also, another requirement was that full screen text was having issues in previous code releases. We decreased the time in which those messages are being published, and we've also did some cleaning up in the database to make sure that happens. You can see from here that messages are being published when we're expecting them to. And last but not least, we want to go over the stakeholder requirements surrounding the map. So we need the ability to use the lasso feature. We want to be able to add or delete stations from a range from the map and go back to a message, and the ability to view stations, station ranges from maps. So I'm going to go back to editing our message. We're going to change this from route and direction to map selection. And what we've changed is we've now created this button and put the map in a modal. This is more secure than the way that we were doing it before. Here I'm just going to use 2 fingers to scroll in. I'm going to select some stations. You can see I have a bunch selected here. I'm going to hit submit. And now all of these stations are listed in this display. We can move them around. We can remove one. We have unsaved changes, and you can see that our body text is still here. So we'll save this. A legal choice was made. And you can see that the message for demo has been saved. Go back to edit. Just to show a little bit more map again. So we needed the modal. We're now able to zoom in. We also can show the station names. Hide the station names. Disable selection so we can move our mouse over the map. Enable selection again. Pick stations and submit. You can see that once we've added more stations, they're now showing up in our form. We'll save that. The message for demo has been updated. And that should cover all of our stakeholder requirements for the map and any of the other ones that we've gone over today. So that should cover the grammar, should cover the station range, should cover message scheduling for message priority, also covering the valid dates as well as repeating messages, valid dates on the message dashboard, and message publishing within a certain time frame, as well as the updated map feature. And that will conclude the stakeholder requirements demo. Thank you very much. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments.